So you guys probably remember from my last video on Tuesday that I took a pretty nice loss on some Tesla puts early morning and then watched the trade go ahead and increase to 300%. The idea was right, the timing was wrong, and it was a pretty difficult day for me mentally. But the one thing that I did not want to do on Tuesday was jump back onto the charts, make my loss even worse, and try to revenge trade. As someone that's been trading for a while with some experience, I know that there is always another trade upcoming in the following days, and I am glad to say that I was able to make those losses back and then some, keeping that mentality strong, keeping my strategy intact, and looking for the next trading opportunity. In today's video, I want to go ahead and share with you guys 2 trades that I took today. I caught them live for us to share and review, learn from why I took these trades, go over the technical analysis, and also learn the fact that if you guys have a red day, if it's a pretty tough day, if you got some trade wrong, do not try to revenge trade. There is always another opportunity. And I hope that the little sequence of this week for me is a learning lesson for you and something that you can take away in your own trading. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to come hang out in the pre-market live streams every single morning starting at 8 a.m. where I review all of the charts that I trade on a daily basis. And the 2 trades that I took today were right from the live stream. So today was the last trading day of June. I hope you guys all had a successful month. If you didn't, learn from it. And if you did, learn from it as well, right? We want to learn from our winners as well as from our losers. In today's video, we're going to look at just the trades that I took today. You guys can see on the bottom right, $1,840. If we click into my trades from today, I took a total of 3 trades. 2 of them were the main winners. One of them I took as just a feeler and quickly got out. I made $21. We're just going to ignore that trade. The main trades were Tesla and Google. So if we look at these 2 trades, guys, the first trade was on Google. It was early morning. It was off a 2250 rejection point, and we're going to break these down a little bit more on TOS. So you can see made $1,100 on the Google trade, took about 3 contracts. And if I scroll down, you guys can see my first entry was around 932, scaling out over time until 936. We're going to obviously go over the live trade, so we're going to see it there as well. Just want to go ahead and share it with you guys here on TradeZilla. The next trade that I took was on Tesla, guys, made about $714. And I did sort of add and risk off on this trade. So you can see I got in, I added, I got out, I re-added, and I got out. So I was sort of trying to get aggressive here, trying to take advantage of more downside. Ended up not getting much more on these last few contracts. The main trade was from the high. Basically top ticked this trade, guys, at the high of day, and this was where most of the money was made. If I scroll down, you can see I was sort of in and out of this trade, right? So added 5, right? Got out of 4, added 3, and then got out of the whole position. So very nice. Here were there's a main overview of my trades. If I go back, you guys can see $1,841 on the day. So with that said, now I want to go into the charts and I want to share with you guys exactly what I was looking for on Tesla in the morning, and then we will get into the live trade. So guys, here we are on the 15-minute chart, and the first thing that I realized this morning was that Tesla had a gap down. Now, when we have a gap down, the stocks tend to want to fill that gap from the overnight market, right? So we wanted to see if Tesla could fill that gap, and then can we play that rejection? On the screen, you guys are going to see the analysis that I post in the Discord every single morning for some of my short-term levels. You can see that I was talking about looking for the gap fill and then playing the reversal off of it. So right here, you guys, on the charts, you can see the gap that is on the chart right here. We had the gap down overnight, and I was looking to see, can we go ahead and close that gap anywhere between 682 and this yesterday's high, right? So I was sort of looking at not yesterday's high, but yesterday's end of day rejection. I was looking between 687 and 682, monitoring this area for a potential rejection point. I was looking to see, can Tesla push back into that level and start to reject? Now, of course, if you guys are on the pre-market live stream, you know that this is exactly what we talked about in the morning. If I go to the 1-minute chart, guys, you're going to see that is exactly what we got on Tesla. So zooming into this chart, looking at the 1 minute, you're going to see that we started to trade right around 930, pushed up into this gap fill area, into the resistance from yesterday, and we basically rejected exactly at that point. Now, in the live trade, you're going to see where I got in, how I managed this trade. So let's go ahead and go over it right now. Tesla with a huge wick to the upside, guys. I'm getting very interested here. Let's see. If the NASDAQ falls, Tesla's going to end up failing eventually. We just got to wait for when it happens. It's looking like it's rejecting pre-market highs right here, or I'm sorry, previous day close. All right, I'm taking that. 675 put on Tesla. Aggressive, went with 2 contracts, went small. I'm not taking profits yet on Tesla. Because I'm in at such a good price, man. I'm going to be a little bit patient here. We literally caught the top. And the ES is making new lows, so be a little bit patient. All right, I'm taking some off now. You know what? This is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to go to 1 contract. I got 1 contract left on Tesla. And I'm going to hold for a pretty extended period of time here. I'm probably going to hold until I see us break 680. Maybe even 682. I'm gonna let this go. All right, that's a break and retest on Tesla. Let's see if it holds below this 675 level. All right, guys, I'm adding the Tesla there. I'm going to sell one into that on Tesla. Taking a little off. All right, guys, I'm out of Tesla. I think it's going to hold a low day. I'm taking profits. I'm all out. All right. Gave back a little bit on Tesla. So you guys saw from that live trade that I was watching it as we started to push into that rejection point. I was making sure that I was focusing on Tesla as we started to push into that previous gap fill, as we started to push into the previous high. Now, as soon as I saw that wick at that resistance from yesterday and that gap fill level, I got interested in the trade. This could have worked against me, right? And that's why I took this pretty small. You can see that I only took about 2 contracts to start and then started to add into it. I wanted to take it small because I was getting a little bit aggressive on the entry. And of course, this could have gone against me. So I want to make sure I'm managing my risk. But you can see that we got in, focused on the technicals, on the gap fill level, on the previous rejection from the prior day. And from there, we basically were just managing the trade. Took some profits on the way down, added into it as it started to work for me. I was looking for a little bit more on Tesla. I was definitely in a position where I was up more than I am at the end of the trade. So I did give back some of those profits, getting a little bit more aggressive on it, seeing if I could really get that downside. And the reason why I was pretty comfortable adding to this position was because my original entry was basically high of day. If I'm sitting in a position with a high of day rejection, basically in it at the best possible price on the put premiums, then I'm pretty comfortable to add into it, because at that point, I'm not going to let this trade go against me. I'm okay getting a little bit more aggressive there. If my entry was sort of questionable, if it was very close to my price still, then I probably wouldn't have added in this situation. But being where I was in the position, the fact that I was in at pretty much the high of day, I got a little bit more aggressive. It worked for me a little bit. Didn't get as much as I would have liked, but overall a very nice day, guys. I didn't stay patient on it. I got out, I took my profits, and I moved on. But you guys can see that if we sort of rode this contract out, we got in up here at this high of day, and these things went all the way down. Tesla fell about 4% from that point. I'm sure those contracts were up quite a bit at that point. But that's all, I don't care about that stuff. It is what it is, right? We can't stress over what we could have made in the stock market. That is a sure way to get yourself emotional, and that is a sure way to lose money in the market. So that was my first trade, guys. It was actually a trade that I took after Google, but I figured I would share the Tesla trade first. With that said, let's go ahead and now jump into the Google trade, which was, again, a very nice rejection point that we talked about in the pre-market live stream and that I go ahead and share in my Discord chat as well. All right, guys, so for the analysis on Google, this all starts on the longer-term time frames. And this is something that I get asked quite a bit. Do I do my analysis in the short-term time frames and the long-term time frames? Most of the time, I'm looking at the 4-hour, the 1-hour chart for my analysis to get my key levels. Then I break it down and I trade on either the 1 minute or the 5 minute. But here, my analysis starts on the 4-hour time frame, and this is where I found the level that I played off of today. So you guys can see on Google, this 2225 zone has been very important. We have found support in the past here, found support past here, found a rejection right here, a support bounce once again, a rejection here, and a support bounce here. So you can clearly see 22.25 is a monster level here on Google and a level that needs to be respected. So I saw this morning that we started to trade below 22.25. Now, when I saw that this morning, I got my eyes opened up because I knew that if we tried to push back up into that, that would be a great rejection point to play off of. You can see on the screen my analysis from the pre-market in the Discord where I post the levels that I'm watching for the short term. You can see that I said that I'm looking for a rejection off this zone. And if I go into the 1 minute chart, guys, this was pretty much perfect. If I go to the 1 minute, here's the 1 minute chart. Here's where Google started to trade this morning. I'll go ahead and put on the after hours so it makes it a little bit more clear. You can see it right here, guys. Google, right out of the gates, pushed right into 22.25. This could not have been prettier. So right there, right into 22.25, rejected it. As soon as I saw it reject, I got in because at that point, I have the best risk to reward. If I'm right here, if my level is correct, then I get the nice trade and I get the downside. If my level is wrong, if I'm incorrect, then I have a very tight stop loss right above that 22.25. I felt that the risk to reward was correct. I trusted my technical analysis here. I trusted that we would reject off that zone with as well a weak NASDAQ. And it worked out beautifully. So now that you see what I was looking for, what level I was watching, why I got in at that price point, let's go ahead and run the live trade for you guys to see how it worked out and how I managed the trade. Guys, I'm taking a Google 2200 put with a stop over 2250. Look at that rejection at 2250 on Google. 2200 put with a stop over 2250. I love that 2250 rejection. Can we get a break of 2200 on Google? All right, I'm taking some off on Google. I'm looking at the NASDAQ bouncing. Don't want to get stuck in that. Yeah, big NASDAQ bounce. That's why I got out of some on Google there. Still holding one Google contract for my stop loss. I still like it. Google contracts just went wild. I'm up 1,500 on that, on one contract. Jesus. All right, I'm taking Google off. All right, guys, so now that you watched the live trade, you can see where I got in after seeing that rejection at 22.25. And of course, all of these trades are live in the Discord community. So if you guys want to trade live with me on a daily basis, make sure to check that out. The link is down in the description below. But I got in with 3 contracts. I was risking just about $500 to $600 on this position. I was willing to take that risk. I was scaling into it a little bit heavy because I really did like that rejection point and I did have a good risk to reward at that point. You can see that I did scale out of 2 contracts. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Google still makes my hands sweat a little bit. Google is definitely a beast of a stock, especially when it comes to options, and it can go against you very quickly. When I got out of my 2 contracts out of the 3 that I had, the NASDAQ was pushing to the upside, and I was concerned about Google moving against me because of the NASDAQ movement. In hindsight, I probably could have been a little bit more patient. I could have waited to watch that 9 EMA, which you can see on your screen here is the blue line on your charts. I could have had a little bit more trust in the 9 EMA. But Google is always something that sort of throws me off. Google's a big stock, like I said, and the contracts move quite a bit, and the price action can be pretty choppy, right? You can have one candle on Google that pops through all the EMAs, pops through every resistance, and it happens in the blink of an eye. So I always like to manage my risk as tight as possible when trading a stock like Google. You can see I scaled out at 2, and I let that last one ride. I was a little bit more confident, a little bit more relaxed, less emotional with one contract, right? Because I didn't really feel like it could hurt me that much. So I held that last one, got that very nice slip to the downside. You can see in the live trade that those contracts basically went from up 5% to up 50% in almost a 1 minute candle. As soon as I saw that, guys, I was up 1,800 for the day, and that was it. I wrapped it up. I took my profits. Obviously, in hindsight, if I could, sort of criticize my trade here again, could have gotten more profits, right? You can see Google moved all the way down to 2150. I got out in the mid-20s on my last contract. The contracts went up to 56. So definitely could have been a really big win here on Google. Something I'm going to work on, something I need to get more comfortable with trading Google. Just being honest with you guys and sharing with you guys the experiences that I have and sharing with you guys the honest truth of trading, especially a stock like Google. So I hope you guys see the analysis that I did, how my pre-market plan goes into my trading, how the levels that I look for in the pre-market, that I share in the chat, that I share in the pre-market live streams, really influence the decisions that I make and really influence the trades that I take. Couldn't be happier with the performance this month, the comeback after that red day. I hope you guys are learning stuff from these videos. If you are, make sure to press the like button, show your support, subscribe to the channel, almost getting to that 50,000 subscriber mark. With your help, that would be possible. Thank you guys for all the support, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.